Israel's big warning to Houthis at United Nations. Israel warns Houthis of consequences for missile attacks. US says Israel has right to defend. Amid escalating war, Israel warns Houthis of sharing same fate as Hamas. Hezbollah. Middle East crisis continues to worsen. Houthis launch fresh attack on Israel. Israel intercepts missile fired from Yemen. No end to the West Asia crisis. Israel's ambassador to the United Nations on December 30 issued what he called a final warning to Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi militants to halt their missile attacks on Israel, saying they risked the same miserable fate as Hamas, Hezbollah and Syria's Bashar al-Assad if they persisted. Israel's ambassador, Danny Danon, also warned Tehran that Israel has the ability to strike any target in the Middle East, including in Iran. He added that Israel would not tolerate attacks by Iranian proxies. But just hours later, the Israeli military announced that it had intercepted a missile fired from Yemen, prompting sirens to sound across the country, and a top Houthi leader said the group would not end its attacks on Israel. The Houthis repeatedly have fired drones and missiles towards Israel in what they describe as acts of solidarity with Palestinians under Israeli fire in Gaza. Meanwhile, US also called on the UN Security Council to respond to Iran's flagrant violations of its resolutions to arming terrorist groups, and implored members with direct channels to Tehran to press its leaders to stop the Houthis from launching attacks that put civilians in harm's way. The U.S. reiterated that it condemned the Houthis' latest attacks on Israel and supports Israel's right to self-defense, a statement also supported by the United Kingdom. While the UK said, Iran bears responsibility for the actions of its proxies, it also said Israeli action must be consistent with international humanitarian law. Briefing the Security Council meeting, Assistant UN Secretary-General for the Middle East Khaled Khiari reiterated grave concern about the escalation in violence, calling on the Houthis to halt attacks on Israel and for international and humanitarian law to be respected. Russia's ambassador to the UN, Vasily Nebenzia, while condemning Houthi missile attacks on Israel, also criticized Israel's retaliatory strikes on Yemen. Earlier, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned the Houthis that Israel was just getting started, following Israeli strikes on multiple Houthi-linked targets in Yemen, including Sana'a Airport, ports on the country's west coast and 2 power plants.